Man, it's funny. I was reading on Reddit the other day that there's a game that a couple gamers play,
Mhm.
and it's a sex game. And the idea is that one of the gamers is usually the guy. The guy's playing a video game, and the girl comes up and is trying to get the guy to have sex. And the guy is supposed to be playing the role of a gamer who doesn't want to have sex. And the girl is supposed to really try to do everything to convince the guy to have sex. And the idea is to see how long the guy can resist her feminine ways but before he gives in to her powers. And that's a sex game going on. It's a real
Shit.
thing. I saw this post and they were talking about, like, the girls were talking about all the different things that they do on the guy and all this. And I was just marveling at this fact. 'Cause I'm thinking to myself, wow, this it used to be a thing that gamers was getting no sex, no girlfriends, no sex, no nothing. And
Mhm.
now we have reached the mountaintop, the
We hit the
promised
peak.
land, to the point where now we have sex games where girls are trying their hardest to get us off the games to have sex. I mean, hallelujah, it's a Christmas miracle.
Buddy, I can tell you right now, I would I would be in that situation just like Kramer on the episode of Seinfeld where they had the bet and he literally came in like 20 minutes later, dropped his money on the table, was like, I'm out, and walked out the door.
I mean, for me, I mean, a woman just had to say hello. I'd be like, ah, I mean, damn, the rain would be over.
Got to tease your man. You got to please your man.
Back with a new show deep in the basement. Professionalism turned off, screw the ad placement. Skit comedy trolling, plate full of dough. People get offended, you don't get the show.
You don't get the show is here. I'm J.A. He's Randy. What's up?
What's up, bro?
All right, we're right here before the holidays. It
Shit,
is a
literally,
special time. Yeah,
literally an hour and a half before the holidays.
I hear the jingle jingle of Santa Claus flying around. Trump is trying to shoot him down with his nukes.
Shit, I swear to God, I heard this morning they were talking about how he wants to like move forward of making more nuclear weapons. I'm like, yeah, that's what we need in the United States. More fucking nuclear weapons.
Man, I'm watching Man in the High Castle, and I'm starting to wonder if we hit our own alternate reality, man. Somebody send me one of those motherfucking films, man, because I think we done fucked up.
No, Jesus. Oh,
But
although the best meme I have seen so far is the fucking picture of Doc Brown with fucking Marty McFly holding the USA Today that says Trump is president, and he says, Marty, we have to go back.
don't worry. We ain't gonna talk politics. Actually, we're gonna talk Christmas gifts. Because you know that seems to be easy nowadays. It's funny because if you grew up before gaming was really out there, it was actually a little difficult to get gifts if you really think about it. Because I was looking at some of those toys back in the like 80s and 90s, and you look at some of those catalogs, there were so many gifts, and I guess you could say technically that it wouldn't be that hard to get, like, let's say a boy. Like, you look back in the 90s, you had like you still had GI Joes, you had like He-Man. I mean, I guess some of those were 80s,
Power
but it's
Rangers.
still popular. Power Rangers. You still had like Mask, things like that. You
Oh,
had like all
dude,
these different
mask.
type of toys that you could get. But I guess if your son or whatever was into a specific type of toy, they might be disappointed if they didn't get the right one. With video games, you still have that, but it's a little bit easier, especially if it's a console. I mean, if you have a console that a kid wants, it's kind of hard to fuck it up unless it's like a knockoff. Like, I don't know. Like, have you ever gotten like a knockoff by mistake? I was asking that on Facebook if someone got a knockoff before.
I never got a knockoff. Like I remember the I don't want to say it was the worst thing because they did make some good ones. Like you remember back in the days, those like the Tyco, the little fucking handheld LCD, kind of like the Game and Watch.
Oh yeah.
Stuff like that. That was, I want to say, like, not the worst, but it was like if you got one of the crappy ones of those, it was like, good God.
Yeah.
But I remember they had some really good ones of those. Like I remember I had a Shinobi one that was fucking fun as hell to play. And that shit, like when you went from the easier levels to the harder levels, like that shit went from like, all right, you can go, and to like, I'm gonna beat the shit out of you. Like literally, there was no in between. It was like, okay, we'll throw one or two guys at you to like, here comes hell in a basket.
Well, see, what happens nowadays is you have like gift cards or, credits or something like that. And what'll happen is like, even if you're old, like say your grandparents or even your aunts or uncles or something, they don't know nothing about video games. Someone will just say like, get them a gift certificate to like Amazon or even Best Buy, brick and mortar store. It's like, cool. They're like, fine, here, give them this, GameStop. And they'll give it to you and you're cool. You'll just go buy whatever. You got to think about back in the day, especially let's say NES. Let's go farther back. NES. Okay. You have to remember, if you don't know this, it got to the point with NES games that they were selling them in your grocery store in a gas station. Okay. So think about it. You go into your gas station and you'll find a NES game, but it won't always be like, let's say Mario Brothers, Zelda, Mega Man. Okay, those are like big games. If you got one of those, you'd be pretty happy if you're a kid, right? But that's not what you'd find in the gas station, because the gas station usually get the cheap ones. They'll get like Micro Machines or some shit like that. Or they had some of these like crazy ass Christian games, like Heaven's Gate or some shit, or Left Behind, the video game. That'd be the game that you'd find in the gas station. So if you've ever had some of these like half shady aunts and uncles who they kind of forgot that you're their niece or nephew, and they'd buy their gifts for you on the way to the dinner, that's what they'd do. They'd stop at the gas station and they'd be like, "Ooh, let's buy this game." And it has like these graphics on the back, or maybe they just look at the graphics on the cover that look cool, and you'd end up with these shitty gifts. And the problem is that you have to smile and accept that gift. Maybe nowadays with these shitty ass kids, you could just accept it. I mean, you could like get angry and you could be like, "This is a piece of shit, I'm taking it back." Nah, man, back then, especially depending, you had to smile and be like, "Oh, thank you." And you had to take it. And you probably didn't know where it came from because they ripped the sticker off and they tore up the receipt. See, people nowadays, I want to ask you that, Randy. Do you get receipts now with gifts? Because that seems to be a thing. I also read about that on Reddit. People giving you receipts so you could return the gift. What is that shit? I didn't get receipts back in the day so I could return gifts.
I was about to say, I don't remember as a kid, like, you got the gift and it was like, here you go. And like, yeah, there was no gift receipt, none of that shit. I don't remember that.
No returning shit.
Yeah, there was no return. Like, be happy you got something, motherfucker. That was like pretty much how it went.
Yeah, your mom would be like pinching your ass, like, "You better smile, motherfucker."
Like, yeah, like that's the thing. It's like I don't remember ever getting a receipt with any of my gifts as a kid. I mean, hell, even until like, and now as an adult, now is when I'm like, oh, it's coming with a gift receipt. I guess it was like one of those, like, too many times growing up, you ended up getting that gift where you had like 4 of them and you're like, oh, look, it's Super Mario Brothers and Duck Hunt again.
Again, yeah, right. You're like, did y'all go to the same store, you lazy fucks? You ever just get a gift, I mean, regardless, gaming or not, you ever get a gift that was so bad and they didn't try and you just wanted to like chew them out and you couldn't? You had to bite your tongue and shit. You're just like, you cheap fuck.
You mean like that scene of fucking from that movie Twins where fucking Danny DeVito opens up the birthday gift from his secretary and it's like Aqua Velva and he's like, Aqua Velva. He's like, you shouldn't have. She walks out the door. He's like, right in the garbage.
Yes.
I remember, like, the only thing I remember ever getting, like, as a kid kind of growing up, like you said, it was like one of those, because it, like, I remember the NES days, like, you think back, those were like the days of classic gaming. Like, I grew up with like Atari, which moved into like Nintendo, which, I mean, you were probably around for the Atari ages as well. Like, that jump from like Atari to fucking Nintendo, it was like, holy Christ, like they've broke the mold. But I remember that because of the way that like Nintendo had their licensing stuff, like that you did not have to get a license to make a Nintendo game. you had those knockoff piece of shit, like 50-in-1 games, which I remember getting one of those things, and it was like, yeah, it was 50 games in one, but you maybe had 2 that were worth playing. The rest were either like super buggy or so shitty you were like, man, fuck this game. Like you throw the controller into your TV, like rage quit type of a thing as a kid. And man, I remember, oh god, those like 50-in-1s were just that was a harsh gift to get because you got it and you were like, oh, cool, it's 50 games, and that was like the whole thing is like, they got it with that intention of like, why get him 1 when we can give him 50? They just didn't know.
And to them, it's like those parlor games. It's like Yahoo games before Yahoo games came out. It's like that's kind of knockouts, and the worst thing about it is that that's what happened to people later on with the Wii. I remember I was in Colorado with some friends, and we were at CVS, and there was this lady, and she was pointing to the guy behind the counter. She's like, oh, get me that, and it was called the Wiz, but it looked in the same letter, font as the Wii. Everything in the box looked almost like the Wii. And it was like one of those 50-in-1s. And the controller looked kind of like the Wii, except of course it wasn't wireless, had a wire. And it's like 50 games in one, bowling, baseball, blah, blah, blah. And like you look at the graphics and it looks like, old, like Yahoo games. And he's like, oh, my son's going to love this. He really wanted one of these. And we're looking at like, no, your son definitely did not want the Wiz. And it's like, and the thing was like, I think $39.99 or something. And it's like, but to her, she had this big smile on her face, like she got the deal of the lifetime. And it's like, I really wanted to go up to her and say, hey, listen, lady, that's not the Wii. Your son or whoever is going to hate you. But at the same time, I'm a dick. So I was like, fuck it, I'm on vacation anyway. I only wish I could just see his face when he opens that motherfucker. I just wish it was possible that he kind of opened it and he sees WI and he's like, oh my god, and he sees that Z and he's like, oh fuck, but
that's the type of shit where it's like you want to say something, like the little angel on your shoulder says like, yo, you should stop that shit right now. But then the little devil on your other shoulder is like, man, if that bitch didn't do her research, fuck him. That kid deserves a good thing.
She probably wouldn't believe me or something. Like, well, I'm gonna walk. First of all, I'm a big black guy, so it's not gonna be right. I come up to Scooby babes. Hey, lady, what's up? Hey, look, let me tell you something, yo. That ain't right. You should be buying that shit. Look, let me tell you what you need to do. You need to go down to Best Buy and you need to get this Wii, yo. Because I mean, look, I know it's gonna cost you about $149, but look, if you get that Wiz, yo, he's gonna be mad pissed at you, yo. So don't get that shit. She could be like, security. I mean, come on, man. You can't do it like that, man. So I mean, look, I just know that I actually remember at one time at a Funko Land, I did rat out a Funko Land employee. Because they were trying to sell, I think it was Street Fighter 2 Turbo. And they were trying to sell it to that person like a used one for like $59.99 used. And I was trying to sell mine so that I could buy something else. And they were only going to give me like, I think $15 for it. And I was like, hey, listen, let's make a deal. I'll sell you mine for $25. And you get yours for 25, you get this for 25 and I get way more money than you would have got. And the guy behind the counter was looking at me like, you little bastard.
You motherfucker.
But I mean, that's what you got to do. But online, we asked that question too. We asked if anyone ever got any Christmas gifts or anything that was really bad. And we had someone said that they got Dino Wars for the NES, and I was actually looking up what Dino Wars looked like.
Dino Wars, shit, I don't remember that.
That game looks terrible. It basically looks like a really cheap looking magnetic like dinosaur. It looks like it kind of looks like a GoBot dinosaur. And it's like a side scroller and they're like shooting things.
Oh yeah, I remember that. Oh my god.
And
Jesus.
he said that it's his fault because he actually asked for it and he was only 10 years old. So I guess it's like one of those kids that just had like the dinosaur fetish, you know, like when Jurassic Park came out.
Yeah. So no, you want to talk about like picking the wrong gift? I remember back in the day when I had my Nintendo, which it was funny because it was one of those like I think it was actually my birthday, which is in January, right after Christmas. I had gotten the NES for Christmas. So for my birthday, like my mom would take me out to like Toys R Us and be like, pick a game. And as we all know now as adults, like you had some pretty fucked up box art on NES games way back when.
Mhm.
So I'm going through, and of course, like going through Toys R Us as a kid, every single one of the most popular games, they're all sold out because it was just Christmas. They're just like, because I'm literally like the second week of January in. So they're just starting to get restocked on some stuff. So I'm going through. I luckily at least had of the popular games what I had wanted. So I'm like going through the aisles and going, man, what should I get? What should I get? What should I get? And I'm looking at all the box art, and my mom's like, you know, come on, pick something, blah, blah, blah. And literally the game I got for my birthday, and I shit you not, was Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde for the Nintendo.
Oh man.
Which, if you look at, is like ranked as almost like one of the worst games that ever came out on NES. And the thing that's funny about it is it's not like it to me as a kid, I didn't think it was a bad game. It was tough, but I didn't think it was like bad. And it isn't until like I look back on it now as an adult going, holy shit, that game really was fucking like bad, because there's parts in that game that are like you're trying to get through the stage and it is so random that like you look at these guys that have beaten these super tough games and they cannot beat that game. Like, as a matter of fact, I think the number one ranked hardest game on the NES is Silver Surfer.
Oh
And
yes. Oh god.
Yeah, and I think Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde's like number 2 or number 3, some shit like that. But dude, I've sat there and I remember playing that thing, and I got pretty far. And like I never beat the game, but Jesus Christ, man, I've seen a playthrough of a person that beat the game, and wow, dude, that is just insane at how hard it is. Which I laugh because I remember like growing up playing DuckTales on the NES.
Oh yes.
That you could sit down and like blow that through that game in what, like 2 hours or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember when the remastered version came out for PS3, when they announced it, I was like, bro, I'm fucking getting this shit. And I remember downloading it and playing it. And I sat there and I was just getting my ass handed to me. And I'm like, yo, there is no way this fucking game was this hard. And then I actually, like, one of my good friends, like, had a copy of the old NES DuckTales. And we started playing it. And I'm like, yo, this shit was this fucking hard. And I was like, holy Christ, dude, games have gotten so fucking easy over time. Because I remember, like I said, I remember sitting down and blowing through that game in 2 hours like nothing.
Even like Turtles, like the arcade version. I remember
Yes.
I used to beat that game with 1/4.
Jesus, dude. That shit was a bitch and a half, man.
I mean, it got to the point. I mean, not originally, but I got so good at it. Where, well, okay, I would be with 1/4 up until Shredder, because when he started
Yeah,
using that
Shredder.
stupid beam, that was just cheap.
Yeah.
1/4 up to Shredder. I could even
Jesus.
beat Kang because I knew how to dodge his stupid punches. When Shredder started using his beam, I could dodge most of his beams, but eventually he'd catch me with his stupid beam once or twice, and I'd have to pop in another quarter. But besides that, yeah, I could do that. Same thing with like games like Streets of Rage. I remember
God,
Streets
yeah.
of Rage and Streets of Rage 2. I could beat that without dying once. Once
Damn,
I
son.
wouldn't die. And then now I go back and be like, oh man, and then I get my ass beat. And it's like,
Mhm.
holy cow, what the hell has happened to me?
Yeah, like one thing that made me laugh was I remember playing like Ninja Gaiden on the NES.
Oh god,
And
though.
I remember I never beat the game, but I remember getting far as fuck. Like I think I got to the last level of that game. And yo, they got that shit on the NES Classic Mini. Bro, I can't even get past the second stage
No.
in that fucking I'm like, you gotta be fucking kidding me.
That's how I broke my first Nintendo, because what it was I'm like, I'm a ninja. I'm supposed to be the badass. I'm beating bosses. I'm chopping up bad guys. You know what kills me? A fucking bat. I'm jumping from tower to tower. Bat hits me, and I'm like, oh! I mean, come on, really?
The only shit I hated about that game was like how you would kill an enemy, and then you'd like jump to get onto the platform where he was, and it was just far enough off the screen that when you jump, the enemy fucking would reappear.
Yeah.
That was the fucking worst thing about Ninja Gaiden, man. It had so many fucking parts where you had to jump up just far enough for the dude to respawn. And it was like, god damn it.
Hey, look at that picture I showed you. Now, you guys you'll see this, but this is gonna be a gift idea for World of Warcraft. And I was thinking about this. I was like, okay, so.
And it's a pillowcase.
It's a pillowcase. So this is a pillowcase for World of Warcraft fans.
Jesus
now,
Christ.
Tell me, where do you put your head on this World of Warcraft pillowcase? Would it be right in the center?
I'll put it to you this way: if you're a stomach sleeper,
a body pillow, perhaps.
Sweet Jesus, dude.
I mean, good lord.
Whoever came up with this shit, you know they're going to sell a crap ton of these things.
I mean, seriously, guys? I mean, could we be a little bit more provocative?
That is hilarious. I don't know where you saw that, but goddamn, that is hilarious.
I was at work, and there's no calls, no nothing. I'm sitting there bored as hell, so I just start searching for like video game related gifts on Amazon, and I come across that pillow. And I'm thinking to myself, wait, what? I mean, really? Like, you couldn't even like hide it a little?
I was gonna say, like, when I messaged you earlier, I was like, let's do the show, and you're like, I'm at work. I'm like, what the fuck got you working at 8 o'clock at night on Christmas Eve?
That's the bane of being in charge of tech support people. You have to go in. There's always someone. My computer ain't working, or something's down. Please help me. And I'm like, why the hell are you doing this on
my
Christmas
computer
Eve?
ain't working. It's Christmas Eve. Hang the fucking phone up. Call back Monday.
Have you ever had a situation, and this is another bad thing about getting a gift. Now, in this case, it's a good gift. I remember when I got my Game Boy. Now, in this case, it was my mom who got it for me, but she made me wait. And that's the worst thing about being a kid, is that you know that you're getting something, but you have to wait. So this was on Christmas Eve, and I got the gift. We're all at the dinner table, and this is one of those things where it's right in between. It's after dinner, before dessert. So they're handing out the gifts, and I open it, and it's the Game Boy. And it's the original, pea soup green one. But of course, to me as a kid,
yeah, baby, big old fucking. That's a phone case, but I remember that motherfucker.
I mean, I was so excited. But here's the thing: so I open it up, and it's like and so everyone else there except my sister, and I think I had a cousin or something. Everyone else there is old. But they're like, oh, technology, cool, pass it around. So first I'm like, damn, I don't want to show you old fucks this shit. So I open it though, right? And I think it came with Tetris. Yeah. So I put it in quickly, I turn it on, and they're like, oh, cool music. They think it's like a music box or some shit. And I'm showing it around, and then it finally gets back to me, and I want to fucking play Tetris. And they're like, no, let's eat.
You put that shit up, and you're like sitting there.
And yeah. That's how they look too. A bunch of old motherfuckers like dancing and shit. I'm like, it's not a fucking jukebox, you old bastards. Give me that shit. I want to play. And now they're like, okay, now turn it off. We have to eat and then talk about some shit that I don't want to talk about. They're talking about who knows what. I don't care. That's the worst part. Did you ever had it? I mean, it doesn't have to be video games. Like, did you ever get a toy? I remember once I had they got me the Lego set when I was like, I don't know, 8 or something. And this was not the one where it told you what to build. It was just a huge, I think it was like 1,000-piece set, and you could build whatever you want. And they're like, here, but now you got to eat. And I'm like, have you ever been tortured like that, where you got the gift, but then you can't play with it for like another hour and a half because you got to have dessert and coffee and shit?
I remember like growing up as a kid, like you had that whole thing where, I'm pretty sure it was when I got my Nintendo, where like, it's that, like, it's funny that you say, like, as a kid, like, which gift is like the gift. Like you could just tell, like that psychic, feeling. So it was like funny because I remember when I got the Nintendo, like I knew which one it was. Like it was the biggest box out of all of them and all that. And like kid logic is like I'm opening the biggest one first and working my way down. And I remember like ripping that bitch open and seeing the box and then being like, yes, I got the Nintendo. And I wanted to hook it up and play it. And of course my mom's like, no, we got to open all the other gifts first. And I was just like, fuck the other gifts. Like I wanted to play the Nintendo so bad. But it was so funny because like in using that kid logic, I worked my way down to the smallest gifts. And you remember the old Nintendo game boxes weren't that big. So it was like, I thought, oh, those are crappy gifts. And like I went through like the best gift, then started opening up like the crap bigger gifts. And then you got like to the end where I'm like, all right, whatever. And then like I'm getting like more games. So it was like, it's like ended on a high note, which was great.
I think that one of my most angry moments ever was I thought that I was gonna get the Sega Genesis. I already had the Super NES, and I'd asked for the Sega Genesis, and my mom had said no because the idea to her of having two, gaming systems made no sense. Right? And I tried in my child logic to explain the difference between the two. She wasn't hearing it. But I thought for some reason that I would get it for Christmas, right? But just in the sequence of events of how I usually have gotten gifts, it wasn't going that way. But for some reason, I was just thinking Christmas miracle. So we're sitting down. And this was one of those Christmases where we had like another family that was like friends, but I didn't really know them as well as like the rest of the family knew them. And they also had like some like kids that were kind of like older. And one of them was like turning 21, I think like in another week or so at the same time. So we're all having dinner and everything. And I'm sitting there, and it's kind of like almost like election night because you're like wondering the results, like, and you're looking around at these gifts, and there's like all these gifts because now it's not only our regular family, but it's like this other family, and we're like meeting them, and like everyone else knows each other, but like me and my sister are not used to these people. So when it's gift time, they're like giving out these gifts, and I guess since they're like the new to our group, and as we're like sharing Christmases. They kind of like let them take over the whole shit giving of the gifts. These motherfuckers are giving out like, I mean, it's like an Oprah show. They're giving out like fucking blockbuster gifts, man. I mean, watches and fucking TVs and laptop computers and shit, right?
You're sitting there, open up your packages of socks and shit, going, "What the fuck?"
Right, and they do it like they hand out the package, like that's how they do it. Like for us, it was like go get one. That's what we go grab one from the tree, come over and open it. They like to hand one out as if they're Santa Claus themselves. So they're handing out these gifts, and the kids are getting like these. Every gift was like awesome, and I'm like, I'm feeling like extra poor now, so I'm like angry. And then the worst part is when they were handing gifts from their family to like my sister and myself, they handed us like this gift basket of Toblerone candy, right? And I don't know if anyone's ever had Toblerone candy, but that's supposed to be like, I guess, gourmet candy, right? And it's funny too because when they handed that candy to us, my mom kind of like leaned over and whispered, "That's gourmet candy." But here's the fucking thing about that. Their father is like vice president of the Toblerone factory in that state in Chicago where I grew up.
So he probably had that shit laying around all over the place.
Right. There's probably like a fucking room full of these fucking things in there, and he just grabbed it and he just wrap that shit up. We got to give it to these fucking losers when we go to their fucking Christmas party. So it's like, that's not a big thing. That's like when I worked at Alienware and I grabbed a bunch of Alienware stickers or some shit on the way out and I handed it to you. You're not going to be impressed by that shit, are you? So, no, but it gets worse. So I'm already mad. They're handing out fucking Oprah gifts. They're giving us fucking leftovers from the Toblerone factory. And then then the son, because the son was like I think a year older than me. I think I was like 16. He was like 17.
Mm-hmm.
So he already got I think a laptop computer, a fucking sweet looking watch, something else. I think like a not an MP3 player was before that. It was like a CD player.
Mm-hmm.
They hand him a box. He opens that motherfucker. Guess what it is?
Fucking Genesis.
Fucking Genesis. So he's fucking yeah. Then they hand me a box. I'm like, I look at him. I'm like, here's my motherfucker. I open that shit. Encyclopedias.
Oh, that is the worst fucking thing.
Dude, he gave me that smug look. I wanted to punch the shit. I want to beat him to death with those motherfucking encyclopedias, man.
See, that was the thing that was great. Like, I remember growing up. So I have one brother, older brother. We're literally almost to the date 10 years apart. So it's so funny because in our household, I was always the Nintendo nut. He was always the Sega nut. So I got a Nintendo. He bought himself a Master System. Fucking when the Super Nintendo came out, I got a Super Nintendo. He got a Genesis. So it was cool because we had both systems in the house. But I would primarily buy games for the Super Nintendo, and I'd have it, and then he would get games for the Genesis. And it was cool because we were in the same household and all that. Like, if there was a game that he wanted that intrigued him on the Super NES, if it was something that I was interested in, I'd usually buy it. If not, he would just buy it and then he would play it. So it was hilarious because I remember growing up, he was like a member of this like video store. It was like one of these like small little mom and pop video stores, and they used to have Genesis games and Super Nintendo. So we would rent fucking all games, and I cannot remember for the life of me the name of the game, but it was really shitty. I think it was called I think it was called Fatal Rewind. I think was it. And it was this it was Fatal Rewind. I just looked it up on fucking Amazon. It was this game where it was like touted as you're this like kind of prisoner that's in this like, you're in prison, and there's this like game show that they broadcast out to people called Fatal Rewind and blah blah blah, and you're in this little like mech type of a thing. And the whole premise of the game is if you can make it through all the levels, you get pardoned and you get out. So kind of like Running Man type of a thing. And all it basically was a side scroller that you jumped, you could shoot. But at the bottom of the level, it would have this like lava that would progressively go up. So you basically had to fight your way up this little like these platforms, get the key to the door, and then get to the door before the lava got to the top and basically killed you. Dude, I remember that game was so shitty, but we like rented it, and we just would poke fun at one another because like I'll never forget this. My brother's playing one of the levels, and we would trade off on like levels, and he fucking kills the guy that has the key and picks it up, and he's like running and he's going, and this fucking lava's working its way up, and he's like, dude, where's the key? And I'm like, and honestly, I thought he realized like he had the key. But I didn't realize he didn't know that. He's running back and forth. I'm like, what the fuck are you doing, bro? And he's like, where's the key? I'm like, you picked that shit up like 5 minutes ago. Oh my God. It was such a running joke from that day forward that to this day, if I call him up and I'm like, I joke around with him and go, hey, where's the key? He will start laughing hysterically because it'll remind him of that moment, man. But like that was one of the things that was really cool. Like in my household was like we would sit there and get games. Like I remember he bought a couple of Super NES games that like we would just play off the system, which is just cool. And it was neat because like we would also like brainstorm. So if we had a set of games that we would want, like instead of me just asking for like these 6 games, I would ask for 3 and he would ask for the other 3, and then we'd have all 6.
That's teamwork.
So, yeah, we would do teamwork like crazy. So we would freaking get the games that we wanted and all that. So we would cross-reference like what game are you getting? What game am I getting? Da, 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 So we would always do that.
My sister would sabotage me. My sister once told my uncle that those little green army men that come in the plastic bag, there's 100 of them. She told my uncle those were GI Joes. So my uncle came in for my birthday, got me a bucket because there's a bucket, there's 1,000 of them, and he's like, "Here, I brought you GI Joes," and then he hands them to me, and my sister is standing like 5 feet behind my uncle with a big shit-eating grin on her face, and
That's
I had to
fucking
be like,
funny.
"Thanks, uncle," when I get this fucking barrel of fucking green army men. Thanks,
That
Anna.
is that is hilarious, dude. Yeah, like it was funny because like we started the tradition where we would always do like once I got old enough to work and earn my own thing. Like me and my brother started the tradition of like we'll just buy each other a gift on Christmas. Like I'll pretty much like, what do you want to get? Like nowadays, it's as simple as like just look at my Amazon list and order me something, and I'm like, cool. And I'll like tell them get me such and such board game, and I'll get it. And it was funny because this was the first year where he wanted to get. Apparently, Atari came out with a book that was a book on all the artwork from all the covers of the Atari games that ever came out. And it was cool because if you remember back in the day, the adventure cartridge that Atari put out, it was that orange with the picture.
Mhm.
So the book itself, that's the outer cover of like the book where the book sits in. So it's an orange box and it says like artwork from Atari and blah blah blah. What's really cool, and he showed me in pictures, is if you open the lid and pull out the book looks like an Atari cartridge. So it's a
Oh,
black book with like the outer rim of the book is like that matted kind of like rough thing, and then it has the smooth picture in the middle, and it has literally like every single artwork from all the games from when they first started to when it stopped. So he wanted to get that, but then like it popped up on Amazon and of course like sold out right away. And what was messed up was like typical like kind of like NES Classic Mini, like people were flipping them on Amazon and selling them for like 3 times the price. So he just so happened to be just like browsing the web and went on Walmart's website and they had the book and he just ordered it. And he's like, hey, this is what I was going to have you get me for Christmas. I ordered it because literally how quick it was going to sell out. He's like, so just order yourself something and it'll be as if I got it for you. So it's like I got to go like, all right, so what the hell am I going to order this year? And got myself a board game that I was on the fence of. But I own all but one other of the board games that this company makes. The company is Stonemaier Games. So they have 4 games. I want to say it's Viticulture, Euphoria, Between Two Cities, and Scythe. Those are the 4 games that they've produced. I own 2 of those. So I own Viticulture and Euphoria. Didn't get Between Two Cities. I mean, it's a cool looking game, but not really for me. But I was on the fence on Scythe. I thought about kickstarting it, didn't. Kicked myself in the ass for not kickstarting it. But then, like, as with Stonemaier Games, like, they'll put out editions and then they sell out, and then, like, it's a bit before they reprint. So Viticulture really took a really long time. That was their original game before it got reprinted. And Scythe was another one. Like, it came out and it was literally out of print, and they were like, yeah, we're going to do a second print run in December. So as soon as I got the notification of like the place I order my games from, they're like, we got it in stock. I'm like, I'm ordering it. Fuck it. And I got that in. So I'm looking forward to playing that. But Santa was good this year. I got four board games, which I wasn't expecting. I was only expecting the one from my brother. So my wonderful wife got me one. Good friends of ours got us another one, and then I got myself one for Christmas. So hey.
So this is going to be our last show of the year. We're going to take New Year's off so we can party. At least I'm going to party down here in South Beach.
I was about to say it might be hilarious to fucking like get shit faced and do the after New Year's and after New Year's drunkathon type of a.
Well, but that would be 2017 though if it's after New Year's.
Well, that is true. Yeah, so it is technically after the new year.
Yeah.
The
So
week after that is my birthday, so
considering this would be the last one, 16 shows in, for You Don't Get the Show. Uh,
Has it been 16 shows? Jesus Christ!
this would be number 16.
I
yeah.
lose count. I just show the fuck up and just talk shit for an hour.
Hey,
and then I
but
get
see,
off.
that's why you got J8, baby. Running.
Running
So
the numbers in the background. I'm telling you. So run the numbers and you'll see every episode that you did a thumbnail with titties on it. It will probably be our best. This is gonna be a trend.
got it. All right. So I mean, what do you think? A little quick State of the Union. What do you think so far? 16 episodes in this run of ours for 2016.
So, as to say like good words, because I've had enough adult grape juice that I get emotional, and B, fuck it, it's been 16 episodes, but by far, like I think we've gotten better since we've started. I've had more fun since we've started. It has been really great getting together with you to do this. And I remember when this was you were getting people like, let's see who I could just get on to come with me to do this, and then I became the reoccurring co-host, as it were, because I was the one that was available, so it worked out for you. But it's honestly been extremely fun doing this. It's always great to come here and just talk shit and see some of the crazy, stupid stuff that you will see on the internet. And lo and behold, the internet will never let us down.
True that.
That is for sure. And if the internet does let us down, Florida will never let us down. But it's been a very, very fun roller coaster ride. I look forward to doing much more of these shows together. Like I said pre-show, now that my birthday's coming up, I'm gonna sit down and really like iron out the details for the ideas that I have, and we'll see what happens. And hopefully we'll be able to announce something soon.
Yeah.
But it's been really, really fun doing this. It's always great to just get out there and just talk shit and talk fun and like hang out with you. Which like every time we do one of these shows, it takes me back to the old Red Eye days, because it's like I miss those old days where we used to all get together in the warehouse and talk shit and scream across the room and freaking have 3/4 of the LAN party play EverQuest for 3.5 hours and nobody played anything else. And you remember what the fuck you guys did when we had internet at the Red Eye. But it's been so much fun just doing this. I honestly, when I first started doing this, I'd always wanted to do something like this. And at first I didn't know like how I would like doing it, but the more I've been doing it with you, the more I've enjoyed doing it. Which is always like, it's so great when you're like hitting me up and be like, all right, let's do a show. Like, all right, let's go. What kind of weird shit did you find that we can talk about this week? But it's been really fun. Like I think we're going on headstrong into this. We're 3 sheets to the wind. We're not going to turn back now.
Nope.
I'm looking forward to episode 116.
For sure.
When we look back at when we hit episode 100, we can look back on our 100 shows.
Yeah, I mean, speaking of which, we don't have a show like this for the Obsolete Gamer Show because of that kind of a format, but we're well over 100 shows on that show. It's been awesome ever since we launched the video version of Obsolete Gamer Show, just being able to talk to so many people, especially considering it's not easy always to get people to come on a show, especially to come on a video show. And it's also not always easy to get people to watch an interview type show because people don't always want to listen to someone to just talk about random subjects for sometimes up to an hour. But long form interviews are still kind of important to just get people's perspective. I mean, it's not going to always be something that someone's into, but getting to get someone's perspective on either their game or just their personality, how they got into a business is important. And to find people that are into it, that's what we're looking for. It's not always about trying to shoot for the most hits, the most views. Trust me, we know how to do that if we really want to just get people to hit. I mean, look at the titties.
We'll hire a stripper to come on with us, and we'll freaking get the most popular show on YouTube if we do that. And we just wanted the hits.
Yeah, it's not about that. I mean, we do things that we like, and
Which
we do things that we hope that you like too. But we have to like it first, and we want to do things that we care about and things that we like first and foremost.
and I
And
will
if you
say,
guys like it too, that's great.
and I will say like that's the one thing like we were discussing pre-show, like you said, like there's shows out there that do like the interviews, but when you look at a lot of these interviews, it's they're at a gaming convention or a gaming show and they're like, hey, tell me about your game, what do you do in this game, blah 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 blah. It's not like how you've done with the Obsolete Gamer, where it's like you get to know the person. Like they're not just Mr. blah 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 from this company that made this game. Like you get to know, like, this is why I did this, this is how I got into this industry, like the long format interview, which I think honestly it is a more of a lost art form because you do not see that much out there,
Yeah,
and
and as
that's
far as you don't get the show, that's the other side because we are crazy people. Neither side is not us. Neither side is fake. Both is real. We played games forever. The Red Eye crew was just as crazy as we are here playing around, but at the same time, you when we interview people and we talk to people, it's a different standard, especially the higher up the chain you go. Obviously, when you talk to someone who is either in film or an executive of a company, there's a certain way that you have to act. No matter however you want to play it, you have to come a certain way, and that's how we come. But we want to have a show where we could be crazy and do, be the way we want to be, and that's the way we do it here on You Don't Get the Show, and that's why we enjoy this here. So to be able to do this with friends, and that's what we are here, just a bunch of friends having fun. That's why we love having the show, and just to be able to have Obsolete Gamer now be going on. This will be like our 8th year that we're going into the Obsolete Gamer show.
damn.
Like we've said in other shows, it's not about trying to always be on top. We always want to be as good as possible. We want to improve, but it's also to continue doing it. Originally, when we started, we had a lot of reposts on our site, and we would take articles and we would go and we'd contact these people who wrote incredible reviews about games, and we would say, hey, your website hasn't had an update in years, or sometimes months, sometimes years, and we'd say, can we repost your work, and we'd get permission. And the reason why is a lot of these people uh, stopped either because it was too hard, too expensive, they just couldn't do it anymore, maybe they lost a passion, or maybe they moved on to different things. But that's what happens, especially in gaming. And some of us, for various reasons, we were able to continue on. And I know I'm going to keep doing this. I don't care how old I get. People can say, hey, aren't you too old for gaming? And my response will always be the same: fuck you. Because I like doing this shit, and we're going to keep doing this
Yeah.
because we like it.
On a side note, if you I browsing my YouTube feed that I have, there has been a game that I've been seeing pop up that I was kind of like on the fence about of just wanting to check it out or not sure to get it or not. But the freaking Friday the 13th game that's coming out,
Everyone's talking about that.
dude, that freaking thing looks amazing. And what's pretty neat is, like, after the fact I started seeing some of these, like the gameplays of it, I started looking into it. What's really cool is, number one, they actually got the license from the guy that owns the rights to Friday the 13th. That's why it's the Friday the 13th game. They actually had him kind of like write around some of the like story and background stuff of the game itself. They actually took locations from the actual game or from the movies and put it in the game. So you have like Camp Crystal Lake, you have that the farmhouse and the barn where in one of the Jason movies, the one where at the end he gets hung from and he dies. They have that in the game. And then on top of that, they actually got the actor who actually played Jason in the movies to actually motion capture all the like kill scenes and all that, the walking and everything like that.
Nice.
So it's really neat because the way that they did it, and I've seen gameplay from both the counselor side and Jason's side, You can pick. I think they have Jason from Friday the 13th Part 2. I think it's 3, 8, and like so like the one that he's wearing the sack over his head, the one where he first puts on the hockey mask, the one where he's like you can see or through his back like his t-shirt's worn away and you can see like his body's already like starting to decompose and shit. And then they have the one where like the mask is broken on the side and you can see his face on the thing. Apparently, if you pay for a DLC, they're actually going to the guy that designed Jason is going to come out with a specific design, a new design for Jason specifically for the game. But the thing that's cool is everyone was like, it's an all versus one type of game. One person plays as Jason, everybody else plays as the counselor. So the thing that people were wondering is if you play as Jason, like how is it going to be fair? How are you going to move around? So like they basically the guy that wrote the whole like Friday the 13th thing, and he explained this in like I believe it was the Kickstarting video or whatever. But in essence, when you look at it, Jason is basically a supernatural creature. So your abilities are you can basically instantly teleport to anywhere on the map. That's one of your abilities. The other ability, which is when you looked at the movies, you always had these counselors that were freaking running and Jason was walking, but he was always like one step behind him. He has this ability where he basically like makes himself invisible and can move forward very fast. So in the game, you basically use it's called a shift ability. You shift forward and you can like get up close to them and all that.
Oh shit.
He has an ability where he can like sense and you can see. Like if people are running, you can see a red shadow of them running and all that. But to counteract that is counselors can go into the cabins and turn on radios and stuff, and it makes noise as if it was a person running. So that's how you can kind of throw off Jason and stuff. And then supposedly the fourth power, which I haven't seen it done, is basically like his rage ability. So it's kind of neat because like the person doing Jason like goes around and basically has to kill the 5 people that are playing as counselors. And then the counselors, each counselor has different like abilities. Like one's good at fixing the cars and stuff like that and fixing the electricity. The other person's like has a lot of stamina. Another one's like really strong so they can do more damage against Jason, like to stun him longer and stuff. So it's really cool how they set this up. Like as the counselors, like you can like call the police and have the cops come. You have to like fix a car so you can escape in the car and things. There's different ways for you to win. And it's really neat because they'll have like hero people. So like they showed in that barn level in the Friday the 13th Part 3 or 4, whichever it was, the kid that ended up killing Jason, the Tommy kid, he's actually like the hero character. So like if you make a phone call and then one of the counselors dies, they come back as Tommy. So you're this like super powerful. Like, you can like shoot at Jason and like do extra damage to him and stuff like that, which is really cool. The other thing that's really, really neat is from playing from watching the gameplay video of Jason, as you're going around and doing stuff, what's really neat is they got the voice clips of Jason's mom. So like you'll hear him and he'll spot a counselor and it'll start doing this thing, and all of a sudden you'll hear like Jason's mom is like, "Yes, Jason, they all deserve to die. Kill them all." Right? And it was like, dude, I was like, dude, that is fucking cool. And what's really, really cool is when you're playing the game, there's like barely any music. But when Jason starts getting close, it starts playing that music that you hear in the movies, the Friday the 13th movies, when he's nearby and stuff. And what's like what they did is so that when Jason uses an ability near you, is you're playing the game and it kind of looks like a VCR tape where it kind of like rewinds a little bit and it gets like the static on the screen and stuff. So that's how like Jason just used an ability near you. So like you'll see people playing and they'll be running and they'll know Jason's in the area and they're running away from it, and then they'll start seeing that thing and they're like, "Oh shit, Jason's chasing me. He's chasing me." The only other thing that was like really, really cool, like the death scenes are really neat. Like you can do, if you're Jason, you pick up a person, you can carry over, like let's say you're in a cabin that has like a fireplace. I saw one where like he picked up one of the counselors, like walked over to the fireplace and like threw the counselor into the fireplace and then like stomped their back to keep their head in the fireplace and then killed them. Like they've done some crazy cool things with that game so far that just look unbelievable, dude.
Nice. Well, it's about that time for us to head off and play more World of Warcraft because we're still addicted to that, and I'm gonna play that until it turns Christmas. Then I'm gonna shout, "Why am I playing World of Warcraft when I should be doing Christmas stuff?" And then people in World of Warcraft are gonna say, "Shut up and get back to tanking."
That's right, damn it. They're gonna be like, keep tanking, bitch.
But it's been a good year. It's been a good 2016. I mean, actually, 2016 has been pretty shitty, but for Obsolete Gamer, it's been good.
Let's look at it this way. Like, I literally just read today that Carrie Fisher had a massive heart attack on a plane.
Oh God.
So 2016 hasn't finished yet. Let's hope she can hold on for like 5 more days.
Jeez.
Like, apparently she didn't die, so she's in critical condition. But it's like, oh Jesus, 2016 hasn't finished yet.
Oh man.
But yeah, bro. Like, seriously, it's been great.
Yeah.
I've loved doing this every time we've come together to do it. Even though we swear we're going to do a half-hour show and it ends up being an hour and a half hour.
Hey, as long as it's good, that's what matters.
Exactly. Like I said, just keep putting the thumbnails of titties every so often, and we'll do fine. We'll do fine.
We're gonna be back in 2017 with more Obsolete Gamer Show, more You Don't Get the Show, and we're gonna have something special coming too. So you stay tuned for that.
Let's see.
That's right.
Make it come out special.
So until next time, I'm J.A., he's Randy, and we know that you didn't get offended. We know that you get the show because we are the show. So until next year, happy holidays, Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, everything, and Happy New Year.
Festivus. Don't forget Festivus.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Festivus for the rest of us. All right, until next time.
Take care. Peace.